Certainly, Shea is one of those who is going to be missed for QPR today.
Well, as for Leeds, back on top, as I've mentioned, after slipping into second, albeit temporarily for just 24 hours in midweek. But a real chance for them here to put the pressure on both Sheffield United and Burnley, having this opportunity playing in the early kick-off this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's a statement that they can go and give to Burnley and Sheffield United. And 3 points here today, as you're right to say, will put them in a good stead going forward, especially we're talking about 10 games left in the season. But you think there were Leeds United at this present time. They will get promoted. I'll be very surprised if they don't. We know there's a massive game coming up on the 21st of April. That's Burnley versus Sheffield United. And when you look at the run-in that Leeds United had, they're not really playing many of the teams in the top half.
It's just two teams in the top half left to play right now for Leeds United. Well, Leeds United in command of the Championship. 2 points clear at the top of the table after a 2-0 win over Millwall in midweek. A chance to strike first in the Championship weekend with Burnley in action later today. And Sheffield United facing the prospect of the Steel City derby at Hillsborough in 24 hours' time. Daniel Farke knows just how dangerous a trip to Loftus Road can be, though. His side beaten here 4-0 on the penultimate weekend of last season, which saw Leeds slip out of the top two. A month ago, Queen's Park Rangers found themselves a point from the playoffs. After 4 successive defeats, the top 6 now out of reach. But could they bring Leeds down here once again? So let's take a look at the teams. Martí Cifuentes makes 3 changes from the side, which were beaten at Middlesbrough on Tuesday night. A game when Ilias Chair picked up a hamstring injury. He misses out today, and his availability for the rest of the season remains in question. The changes see Morgan Fox, Paul Smith and Lucas Anderson all come in. It's Anderson's first start since the 29th of December. Michael Freight leads the line and is Queen's Park Rangers' top scorer this season with 8 goals. As for Leeds, no new injuries to contend with for Daniel Farke, who names the same side that saw off Millwall on Wednesday night. It was a game in which Joe Rothwell and Al Tanaka, who scored Leeds' second goal, excelled in midfield. Manor Solomon helped create Leeds' 3rd-minute opener against Millwall as his cross was deflected in off Jake Cooper. Joel Piroux had a goal disallowed on Wednesday night, but is in great form away from home, with 6 goals in his last 8 matches away from Ellen Road. So Michael Freight, the top goal scorer this season for Queen's Park Rangers. How do they utilise his talents to its full potential here this afternoon, Dave?
Well, as you can see, he's tall and physical, and so far with 7 goals in the EFL, he is going to be a threat, especially for Joe Rodon and Pascal Stroke. But he needs the service that needs to come in from flanks. He is one of those players, as I said, he has the physicality, he has the speed, he has the experience as well.
Goals all over the field for Leeds United, and one of the players that's really chipped in for them this season, Brandon Aronson, with 10 goal involvements, and a player that is so crucial to the way that Leeds go about their business in the final third.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm saying this is a player I really like. He had a tough first season when he first came to Leeds United, but a successful loan spell in Germany last year. Seeing this player blossom this year. He's quick, he's dynamic, and the playmaker going forward. But with no goals in his last 7 games, I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the score sheet today.
Tim Robinson is our man in charge here this afternoon. Great atmosphere inside Loftus Road. It's always an occasion when Leeds United come to town. They have a target on their back. They are the team which everybody wants to take down in the Championship. But right now, they lead the way. Can they take another step towards winning promotion here this afternoon? Glorious day, it has to be said, here in West London. Mouth-watering game ahead of us. So we're underway. Leeds United beaten in their last game on the road at Fratton Park. It was a controversial defeat, but it did bring to an end a 17-game unbeaten run. Their best unbeaten run in the league since 1974. How awkward an afternoon can Queen's Park Rangers make it for them? Can they play with freedom perhaps here this afternoon, David, given that in terms of league position, those playoffs look too far away? They can just go and take on Leeds here today.
Well, they've got nothing to lose, have they? Apart from the fact that they've gone 4 games where they've lost consecutively. Leeds United, as you're right to say, are the main side in the Championship this year, but this will be a tough one for the home side.
Here's Dan James for the visitors, and he's got plenty of players waiting in the middle. Still Dan James, can he pick someone out? He just clips one to the back post, and it went beyond Joel Pirout. Now Solomon, who was bright against Millwall on Wednesday night, into Joe Rothwell. Now Strauch. Tanaka scored a great goal 5 minutes from time on Wednesday. Leeds starting with purpose. Bogle's ball into the box, flicked away, and it was a vital intervention as well, with Joel Pirout waiting to strike at the back post.
Well, the game's only, less than a minute and a half already, and you've got Daniel James with a decent cross. You've there got Bogle with a decent cross. But what I like about Leeds is the movement from Junior Firpo as well. He was the one in the central position, and he wasn't far away from the cross.
Just saw Daniel Farke. He was very happy with his side's performance in midweek. Thought they were excellent in the second half, as they really did dominate proceedings. Corner comes into the front post. It's met by Edwards, who didn't initially get it away, and then QPR just get that ball launched forward and out of harm's way. Daniel Farke said that that game against Millwall was always going to be difficult, given that their side had lost the game for the first time in some time as well. Took them a while to get going, a bit of fortune in their opener. They really did take command after half-time. Had to wait a while, though, to put the game on ice. That goal from Al Tanaka coming in the closing stages. Pirout just dropping off the front line to try and link the play up, but this has been a very positive start by the visitors. Ball threaded through by Bogle, trying to find Aronson, just a little too much on it. Queen's Park Rangers going through this tricky time right now. 4 successive defeats. It really has derailed their campaign, but Marti Cifuentes saying that because of the experience they had earlier in the season when they made such a dreadful start, bottom of the table still in November, his players know what to do to start putting things right. And this is the kind of fixture, David, that will get his players going here today, you would feel.
Well, if you can't get yourself going in a fixture like this, then I'm sorry, but you don't really have any warrant to be on this pitch. Great opportunity here for QPR, as you're right to say. But they did have a spell at home where they didn't lose a game for quite a long time. And as you're right to say, they got themselves within a point of the playoffs, but now you're talking 12 points. Is it going to be too much for them? I think it will be, but 9 points above relegation, they don't want to go down. They're too good a side to go down. And when you have somebody like Michael Frey, he needs that service today, especially when you have wider players in Paul Smith and Lucas Anderson. But he needs to have that coming in, that ball coming in all the time. But Leeds United, as we know, defensively, one of the best around. 21 clean sheets this season. Only conceded, 23? That shows what an exceptional season Leeds United have had so far.
And then when you marry that with their ability at the other end, it shows you why Leeds are so strong. And intervention just needed there by Joe Rodon. Michael Frey looking to involve himself. Frey, who starts games very quickly. 8 goals this season, 3 of them have come in the opening 5 minutes of games. But we saw perhaps Millwall looking to use their physical prowess in attack on Wednesday night, and Leeds were very comfortable in dealing with it. Really did restrict the opportunities that Alex Neil's side had over that 90 minutes.
And generally you can't say that about Millwall, because they are physical, they are very direct. But then when you have somebody like Strauch and Rodon, who've played quite a long time together so far this season, we know that Rodon's never present and Strauch is making his 29th start. They have a good relationship, those two, and as I said, a lot comes through where keepers don't really have to make a lot of saves, especially when you have those two in front of them.
Aronson looks to push it through to Pirout, but that's well cut out by Cook. And Ronnie Edwards, who's in the Queen's Park Rangers midfield this afternoon. Frey beaten to the header by Strauch. Some really big individual battles all over the pitch here this afternoon as Firpo steps up to make life a little awkward for Smith, who gives away possession and now gives away a free kick.
Yeah, this is always going to be a dangerous area, isn't it? As we know with Leeds, so prolific when it comes to set plays. But person who there who got upended, Manor Solomon, had an excellent season, hasn't he?
Free kick just catches QPR out there as it's rolled to Bogle. It breaks to James. And Frey does well to get a touch to it before Tanaka, but he won't give up on things. He's such a tenacious battler in midfield. Sequence of challenges that have really got the crowd up here as they continue to fly in. In recent seasons, recent meetings show that Queen's Park Rangers can do a job on Leeds United. As David mentioned just before we got underway, 5 victories in the last 6 games against Leeds here in West London. But Leeds are used to this, aren't they? Every team raises their game when they try and take them on, particularly when Leeds are on their travels. Play plenty of nice football, but they can mix it as well, Daniel Farke's side.
And that is a sign of a good side, isn't it? When you're able to go and do that, you can have your playmakers, but also you need your workhorses as well. But you talk about the goals that they conceded. It's okay talking about the defence, but what I like about Leeds as well is that you talk about defending right from the top, and when you have somebody like Joel Pirro as well, who's having an exceptional season, he works really, really hard, and so do the 2 wide players in Solomon and Daniel James. As mentioned about Brendan Aronson, I really like him. Didn't have the greatest of starts, as I mentioned, when he first came to Leeds, but certainly flourished when he went to Union Berlin last year, and this year he's been exceptional.
He's the best league season of his career, Brandon Aronson, in terms of goals. Chipped in with 8 already. He's featured in every single game for Daniel Farke's side, as well as they look to get themselves back in the Premier League. Came so close, of course, last year. International break coming up, and Junior Firpo, who's going to take this throw for Leeds, will be away with the Dominican Republic. He's had a fantastic season, hasn't he? Another assist for him in midweek. He's looking to 9 for the season.
You know, he's 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 4 games. But as I mentioned, when that first cross came in from Daniel,
Pirou's going to take it on. Just got underneath it a touch too much, but it shows the confidence, David, of a player to take it on as it sat up the way it did there for Joel Pirou.
And the thing is, like with Pirou, he doesn't need an opportunity to have the second chance about thinking about having the shot. He's quite fortuitous that the ball comes back to him, but then there's no doubt about it. All he's going to do is hit that ball, hit it hard, just a little bit too high that time. But he again has been in real good form. Was it 6 goals in his last 8 away games or something? Done really well.
He is a guarantee of goals in the Championship, Joel Pirou. Into double figures in all 4 of his seasons playing at this level. Had a tough one last time out in that game at Fratton Park, Leeds' last away game. Squandered a couple of chances, was denied by a couple of really smart saves as well. QPR perhaps won't expect to have too much of the ball here this afternoon. Leeds with the highest average possession in the division. Can they make it count when they do get themselves on the ball? Only have 30% of the ball in the reverse fixture. Couldn't conjure up a shot on target, but they're a different side here at home, where they've won 7 of their last 9. Always fascinating seeing the managers here at Loftus Road so close together. It's such a cramped stadium, isn't it? A great stadium, though, always generates a good atmosphere. Everybody inside feels involved.
Yeah, at least the pitch is a lot better than back in the day as well, when they used to have the old Astro. I played on that on several occasions, and the ball, the bounce of that was just so high. But great pitch here today, fantastic atmosphere, and the weather to boot as well.
Frey's boot was a touch high there as Struijk did stoop down to make the header. Decision goes against the Queen's Park Rangers forward. Rothwell put under pressure, and maybe he won't find it as comfortable as he did at Ellen Road on Wednesday evening, when he really did run the game from the base of midfield for Leeds United. Marty Cifuentes has said that he's identified weaknesses in this Leeds side. He says, of course, there aren't many. They are top of the table for a reason. Full of confidence that his side can get themselves a positive result. Stop the rot here this Saturday lunchtime.
Well, the one area where I think they can capitalise are on set plays, because when you looked at the lineups before the game, there was definitely a height advantage for QPR.
Cut out before it reached its intended target. Queen's Park Rangers happy to go direct to try and get Michael Frey into the game, but now a bit of room for Jayden Bogle to step into. Dan James working his way in from the touchline. Good work done initially by Frey. His pass was a little loose there as he tried to find Kenneth Bauer, but he's going to have to do that a lot, you feel, here today, David. Drop in and hold that ball up and wait for his teammates to get up in support, because it seems as if Leeds are going to have plenty of possession.
Well, yes, they are having a lot of possession. You can see here with QPR just having a little bit of a block at this moment in time, just saying to Leeds, you need to go and break us down. But certainly when that ball goes forward to Michael Frey, he's got to grab hold of it.
Leeds United have got themselves a corner here. Ball coming off Jimmy Dunn, who's certainly been making a name for himself at the other end of the pitch this season. It's very strange to see that Queen's Park Rangers right back is the player who's had the most attempts at goal for them this season. Leeds take it quickly. Solomon whips the ball in, and it's headed away by Frey. Away by Cook. Ball just seems to be coming back right now. Leeds enjoying a really good share of possession early in this game. Rothwell into Tanaka. He looks to push it forwards, just doesn't quite find Solomon.
I think it's very important for QPR that they've got to just get through a few phases of the play, get some passes in, but you can see the high press that Leeds do put on with Pirro, Aronson, and then you have the two wide players of Mana Solomon and Daniel James, again just stopping and playing out.
Roden wins the header. It's going to be a tough day for Michael Frey, you feel. Ball played over the top, and Leeds managed to half clear it away, but Queen's Park Rangers can look to come again here. Backs ball forward. Sato, can he make anything of that? Struijk just got a touch to it. Leeds a side who are used to having plenty of the ball, and two-thirds of it so far this afternoon, David. They've settled into their stride well.
Yeah, they've settled in really well. It's always very difficult when you're away from home. You want to try and silence the crowd as early as possible. And we see with the possession that they've had. And how many times, really, as QPR got themselves into the Leeds final third, it hasn't happened at all. As I said, the amount of pressure that Leeds are able to put onto the opponents is fantastic. And certainly that's what Daniel Farke will be wanting. He said they were so disappointed not to get promoted, losing out in the playoff last year, coming so close. Adam Armstrong with that goal. But as we know with Daniel Farke, he's had a couple of promotions with Norwich, and I'm sure this will be his third one.
He got his 50th championship win in charge of Leeds on Wednesday. It took him just 83 games to get there. Now a chance for Queen's Park Rangers here as the throw comes in, not enough distance on it, and Pirout can head it away and clear the penalty area, but now a chance to sling it back in. In comes the cross, Roden, whose header was down and not really away. Sato tiptoeing his way towards the Leeds penalty area, looks to roll it across, but that one's cut out. Sato strike! And out of nothing, Queen's Park Rangers get themselves in front. A delightful finish. And Queen's Park Rangers are at it again against Leeds here at Loftus Road. Wonderful goal. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Leeds United 0.
Well, this is a great strike, isn't it, from Sato? But you have to look at the touch from Aronson. It's a poor one which invites Sato to have this opportunity. Starts with this ball out on the left-hand side and then tries to play a neat little 1-2. There's the reverse pass from Aronson, plays it right into the path of Sato. He was trying to find Jayden Bogle, but Sato had just continued his run. And there you have a little look. It's a great strike. And Meslier, no chance whatsoever.
First time strike by Koiki Sato, and he couldn't have hit it any sweeter. Whipped it past Ilan Meslier. And it's a familiar feeling here in West London for Leeds United. Such a bright start to the game, but they find themselves behind. Well, we suggested perhaps that Queen's Park Rangers would have to make the most of the chances which came their way. First attempt at goal, and it gives them the lead. The crowd weren't up for it enough already here this afternoon. Just listen to the noise around Loftus Road.
I'd say one of the first times really that Queen's Park Rangers have got into the final third and caused any problems, but as I mentioned, it's sometimes when the balls are wanting to be played out from tricky areas, you have to be thinking about getting the ball away first. But Aronson tried to be a little bit too cute, played that little ball into the path of Bogle, but Saito, as I mentioned, he'd already made his movement towards the ball. It's a great strike against the run of play, but that's football, isn't it?
Nothing that Ilan Meslier could do about that. Flew past him. Third goal of the season for Koiki Sato. Here's Roden as Leeds try to summon a response. Dan James rides the challenge of Sato. Kenneth Powell gets a toe in, but it's now with Jayden Bogle. Strout. Bit of room here. Solomon finds a pocket of space. Junior Firpo ahead of him, but his cross is cut out. That Queen's Park Rangers goal would have been met with plenty of noise in both Sheffield and Burnley as well, hoping that Leeds can slip up today and give those two teams a real chance to capitalise in this thrilling race for automatic promotion. Frey does his job, relieves the pressure on his defence and wins a free kick. Well, Leeds have fallen behind on 11 previous occasions this season. Come back to win 4 of them. Amongst those victories for them as well, big wins in recent weeks against both Sunderland and Sheffield United, two absorbing contests, massive games at the top of the table. Daniel Farke's side coming on strong late on in both. Away by Paul Nardi, who actually had a chance to equalise for Queen's Park Rangers at the Riverside very late on in midweek when he came up for a corner.
So just didn't get enough purchase on it, did he? Went straight to the keeper.
Rash challenge in the middle of midfield, and going to get the game's first yellow card, and it's shown to Jimmy Dunn, who can't have any complaints.
Well, I think rash is a word for that one. Not a good challenge at all. Mano Solomon does really well, but look at that. He's not going for the ball at all, is he? Just wants to go and hurt the player.
And he's put himself in a tricky position here because he's going to have his hands full this afternoon, not just with Mano Solomon, but we've seen how often Junior Firpo flies forward as well. Looking rather early in proceedings. Rothwell. Strauch across to Joe Roden. Rodon again. Cut out by Powell, but his clearance was sketchy and will prove costly for his team. Here's Bogle. Powell looking to recover, but Bogle gets the better of him and he digs out across as well. Set-piece opportunity here for Leeds United. Of attention being given to Pascal Strauch, and Tim Robinson feels the need to get involved. Does he really need to remind the players of what the rules are here, David? They know what happens if you commit the foul. You're going to be penalised. Why do they need to be reminded?
Yeah, but the referee doesn't always penalise them, does he? So
corner whipped into the front post and it's cleared away. Junior Firpo had gone down inside the penalty area. Here's Frey, already past the midway point in what has been an absorbing first half here. Daniel Farke, his side have had plenty of the ball, but they've only had one attempt at goal so far, haven't hit the target either.
No, but what he'll be saying to his side is just to be patient. You'll get your opportunities. Players find themselves into good holes, get themselves into those advanced areas. You'll see crosses coming in from Daniel James, Jayden Bogle, especially on this near side. Sometimes you just need more than the one player. Joel Pirro getting inside that 6-yard box, and that's the time that I said about Junior Firpo making that diagonal movement in towards that 6-yard box.
Bit of room for Tanaka. He finds Jayden Bogle. James looks to send in the cross, but it ricochets off Kenneth Parr.
Well, certainly with the last set piece that Leeds had, you can see that Kenneth Powell, he's not the tallest of guys, he's just playing himself into that little point. But the one person that they have to go and miss is Michael Fry, because he is in line with the front near post, and they've got to just either come across the front of the guy, or they've just got to go and miss him completely.
Deeper corner from Rothwell this time, nobody there though for Leeds, but it is retrieved by Solomon. Tanaka clips in the cross, headed away to the edge of the area where it falls to Joe Rothwell, but he's quickly crowded out. All sent forwards and will just run out of play. Just got away from Smith, who's frustrated that he couldn't be found there.
Now the pass has got to be a lot better. Just able to just go and clear it. They've got to put it into better areas for Smith to get onto. Maybe disappointed with that, but acknowledges the fact that he was trying to be found in the first place.
Loosely hoisted forwards by Kenneth Powell. Sato, whose goal separates the sides, but he has his pocket picked. Here's Aronson, who's got all for company around him. Bogle looking to stride forward. James trying to hold his run, curve his run, and there was definitely a ball to be played to him there.
It was just poor, wasn't it, from Jayden Bogle. Acknowledges the fact that it wasn't the best of balls to Daniel James, who got himself in behind the QPR back unit, and a better ball could have caused more problems.
Poorly given away by Edwards. Leeds again looking to build down the right-hand side, where 47% of their attacks have come so far. James's ball in, plenty of depth on it. Once again, James looking to weave his way through the challenges, but that route blocked off. Now Frey just couldn't quite bring it under control. James comes across. Aronson looks to pin a cross, which takes a double ricochet. Ball goes down, and again a chance to get a bit of respite for that Queen's Park Rangers defence, which is getting worked more and more, and his share of possession continuing to grow.
Yes, important that down this near side, that, as we saw just moments ago, Colback just helping out Kenneth Powell. Saito also coming back as well. Bogle and Daniel James having a lot of space down this near side. But very important with the experience that Colback has, is that sometimes as a holding midfielder he's got to come across and help his fullback.
Fullbacks such a crucial part to Leeds' attacking play. 18 goal involvements split between Bogle and Firpo this season. Just to thump it out for a throw, and opportunity perhaps here for Queen's Park Rangers to hurl this one in. Forward comes Coke. Edwards is tiptoeing his way into the Leeds penalty area as well, but it's a throw-in that they've worked short instead. Here's Anderson. Smith, and he's got plenty of time to measure across here, just hangs one up, header, makes it two! Steve Cook for Queen's Park Rangers. What a first half they are having. With Leeds perhaps expecting the long throw, they worked it short. Delight for Marty Cifuentes, whose side are making the most of their chances here.
Well, you have to say that's an exceptional header from the veteran Steve Cook. But they work it well down that far side. The ball is being thought that it's going to come in as a long throw. And then when it comes to Portsmouth, all he's got to be doing is thinking about putting it into a good area. But have a look at Steve Cook. He goes towards the 6-yard box and then pulls away. He's totally unmarked. It's a good header. He's having to put a lot of pace with the header because there's not a lot of pace from the cross from Smith. There he is, he's unmarked. Just kisses off the near post and into the back of the net.
Hands high from Marty Cifuentes, but there'll be an inquest surely in the Leeds changing room over that second goal. Nobody pressurising Smith, who had plenty of time to cross, and then Cook left all alone inside the penalty area. League leaders 2-0 down here. It's the Queen's Park Rangers side that had lost their last 4 games.
So back-to-back goals for Steve Cook as well. I'm sure he doesn't say that very often during the course of his career.
They are his only goals so far this season as well. Real test now for Leeds United. A long, long way back for them. Something about this ground that seems to get the better of them. This time he's going to be held into the penalty area. Strauch with his header high, doesn't clear the penalty area, gets another go here. Sent long by Nardi. Form of these two teams, and on paper it would tell you that Leeds would be the favourites here today. Many would have expected them to come to Loftus Road and get the job done, but the position Marty Cifuentes' side now find themselves in. Farker simmering on the touchline there. We saw him with his arms folded. Memories from their trip here last season, and it has been day again here. Smith winding up this long throw once again. On the turn, tries to get a strike away. Michael Frey feels that he was impeded in the penalty area there. No interest from Tim Robinson, the referee. It was very much a half-hearted appeal, wasn't it, from Michael Freyers. Rodon comes forward here for Leeds. Aronson just has it taken off his toes. It was a really well-timed challenge. Anything in this half-hearted appeal, David? You see here Frey looking to get an effort away.
No, never a chance in a million years is that a penalty. As I mentioned to you before, when it comes to set plays, QPR do have the height advantage, and that's maybe where Cifuentes has decided this is what we're going to go and do. I would say they've been ruthless in front of goal, QPR.
They really have. Marty Cifuentes' side. It's reflected in the numbers that you see. 3 attempts at goal, both efforts on target. Beaten Ilan Melia. Just the 1 attempt so far from Daniel Farker's side, despite all that possession.
And that's where I think he'll be disappointed, but he'll still be saying to his players that we're not out of this game by a long chalk. We're getting good possession down the flanks. Maybe the crosses have got to be a little bit more better. We've got to get more players into the box.
Here's Bogle. He is going to have a go. Puts his effort over the top.
this is a waste as far as I'm concerned. Isolated 1v1 against Parl. I think that's the one where you just stand that ball up towards the far post. And I think that's just a little bit of frustration coming out from the Leeds players.
Just 4 games from 37 in the Championship this season, Leeds United, and all of them have been by a 1-0 scoreline. For Queen's Park Rangers from an XG of just 0.2. Really well taken goals, both of them. Melier have a chance in the Leeds goal. Furious that he didn't get a free kick there.
To agree with him, did think it was a free kick, just blatantly pushed.
Potentially looking for that long throw opportunity, but it's been left to Kenneth Powell. To make himself an option for that throw-in, but possession turned over. Picked up though by Piru. Touch from Colback. Can Leeds find a way to halve the deficit before half-time? Tanaka. Clever ball to find Bogle, but again he finds himself with 3 players around him. Leeds have to settle for a corner, which will be their 5th of the afternoon.
Yeah, and all 5 so far have not been great corners, have they? As I mentioned before, you've got Parl on the near post, and Frey might be one of those, as said, to come across the front of those 2 players. Just 3 touches in the opposition box so far for Leeds United, as Solomon tries to create a bit of room. Strout goes down inside the penalty area. Fans doing what they can. They're backing for their side. Find themselves in this very tricky situation. Laid off first time by Piru. Into Solomon. Now Rothwell. Tanaka. Piru again. Cleverly played by him. Solomon across goal, and Leeds have got one back. Just what they needed. Queen's Park Rangers claiming an offside. Leeds United right back in this game. Queen's Park Rangers players aren't happy. Steve Cook making the point.
It's going to be really interesting to see this again. It was a really well-crafted move by Leeds. Let's take another look here, David.
Well, it was well constructed. Nice little ball from Pirro. And I think it's Firpo who gets the final touch here. You can see that Bogle doesn't touch it. If Bogle touches it, he's offside. But Firpo just gets the tiniest of touches. I can understand why Steve Clarke is a little bit animated, thinking that Bogle had the last touch, but Bogle did not touch that ball. It's a lovely ball into the path of Solomon. And there we see the finest of touches from Firpo. And Leeds are back in this game.
Queen's Park Rangers looking to re-establish a 2-goal lead, but play pulled up here. Yeah, movement, of course, towards the ball by Jayden Bogle. Didn't we, those fullbacks for Leeds United and the influence that they have in the final third of a game. Firpo getting himself his 4th goal of the season as Bogle breaks forward once again, but it's just too far in front of him. Firpo's goal coming at a handy time for Leeds United.
Well, it is, and as we're right to see, Jayden Bogle at the far post. If he makes an attempt to actually put that ball in, then he can be deemed as being offside. And I think he just retracts that at the end, knows that the ball is going in from Firpo. He knows that if he touches it, he's going to be offside. But he has been a threat inside of the 18-yard box in recent games, hasn't he, Junior Firpo? Is that his 3rd goal in the last 4?
Who's been in really good form. Scores a few, lays on plenty, just bundles into the back of Smith there and gives away the free kick.
And all of a sudden, we're now going to have a different team talk from Daniel Farke coming up towards half-time. Because I'm sure that he wouldn't have been particularly happy, especially going in the final third, where they've got crosses coming in, 1 or 2 attempts which went high and wide. But you have a look at QPR, the 2 opportunities that they had, they shoved it into the back of the net. I'm sure that Daniel Farke will not be best pleased, especially with Steve Cook's goal. Totally unmarked, free header.
Had the makings of being a really good game here today. Certainly proven that way so far.
Well, the one stat I was going to come out with in respect of Leeds United, if there was a half-time team talk, is that they've scored 2 or more 9 times so far this season, so they still are a threat. But as I said, that half-time team talk would be so much different now.
Happy to go back to Paul Nardi. Queen's Park Rangers strike again before half-time. Cross comes in, Frey with the header. Couldn't quite get over the top of it.
Well, there wasn't a lot of pace from Anderson, was there? But again, Daniel Farke will be saying to his centre-halves, how many times have we had a ball coming in to the 18-yard box and there's a free header, and there once again with Michael Frey, totally unmarked, but he's not able to do anything with it.
Rothwell. Across to Firpo, final seconds of the 45. He's just going to push this one away. Strike into Firpo. So 2 minutes to be tacked on to the end of this first half as Solomon goes down. Yeah, once again, happy to just get it away. Looking to turn, but his touch is loose. Smith into fray. He's got options behind him which he wasn't aware of. He didn't see Sato. It would have been an awkward one for him to turn and play, perhaps. Tried to find Smith instead.
But all he had to do is just open up his body. We talk about peripheral vision when receiving the ball, and if he'd have gone with his right foot and turned out to his left-hand side, he would have seen Sato in bags of space.
Shame that the half-time whistle is going to come in a minute or so, because you can't take your eyes off this one. Here's Bogle. Stepping forward, pushes it down the line, tight to the touchline. Here's Manor Solomon, and he just loses control of it. Been a great first half, though, David.
It has. It's had a lot, hasn't it? Potential penalties. Great strike to start off with from Saito. Steve Cook getting a header. And then that opportunity there for Junior Firpo to get his side back into this game. I'm sure this won't be the end of the scoring.
Great first half here at Loftus Road, but Leeds pulling themselves back into the contest just before half-time through Junior Firpo, who got his 4th league goal of the season. Cookie Sato had put Queen's Park Rangers into the lead with a brilliant hit when Leeds had had so much of the early running. Steve Cook made it too, but Leeds biting back just before the interval. Great first half here at Loftus Road, where it is Queen's Park Rangers 2, Leeds United 1. We'll leave that one to the panel that decides. They'll review all of this, of course, once the weekend has concluded. Either way, in half the deficit, Leeds did what they needed to do as that first half was closing out. Queen's Park Rangers back out on the pitch. Morgan Fox, well, will it go down as an own goal once the weekend is all said and done? But I think we can take from that the importance that we've seen from Leeds United in getting those full-back players really far forward.
Yeah, important, and it's one of the first times that we've seen for quite some time is that they actually got in behind the QPR back unit. There's been times where you see with Bogle and Daniel James, especially on the right-hand side, where they're actually crossing the ball in front of the fullback, Kenneth Powell. But that was one of the first times. That good movement, as mentioned, from Manor Solomon. Good ball from Pirro. And it's a great ball in. As I said, we're not sure whether it is a Morgan Fox own goal or is it a Firpo goal.
Change for Leeds at half-time. Willie Nonto, whose future at the club has been sort of much speculation in the last month or so. He's coming on for Brendan Aronson, so a freshening up of things by Daniel Farker as Leeds United look to turn this game around. The chance to psychologically strike on Sheffield United and Burnley this weekend by playing first, but of course the danger is that it might just flip the other way. Just to remind you that the Leeds United goal late in the first half has been officially credited as a Morgan Fox own goal. Leeds won't mind who got it. They got him back in the game.
Well, I'm sure that Morgan Fox won't want to have that put down as an own goal for himself. You say it was very tight. I mentioned that Firpo did get the touch. But now with Wilfred Nonto on, a little bit more extra pace. Not sure if the substitution of Harrison is tactical or not.
Managing minutes certainly has to come into the thinking of the managers at this stage of the season, doesn't it? We hear them talk about it so often. Such a long, arduous season. It just shows you the strength in depth that Leeds United possess as well. Because without Ethan Ampadu right now as well, they can get him back involved sooner rather than later. Daniel Farke saying what an important player he is, but not just that, a leader of the team as well, when he's been spending plenty of time in the changing room with the team before games, and of course all sorts of positivity in and around the training ground as well. But here's Michael Frey for Queen's Park Rangers, fires his effort at goal, drags it wide in the end. When they do get it forwards, Queen's Park Rangers, they are threatening.
And a lot of the times it's because they're direct. But once again, nice little reverse flick from Colback into Anderson. And yes, the angle's slightly acute for Michael Frey, but decides to take that on very early. And as you're right to say, goes across Meslier.
Tim Robinson just talking to Straukamp, Joe rode on here. Meslier had also himself close by to have a listen in.
Well, the other thing that we've got to take into account when you mention about Ethan Ampadu is that we've got the international break coming up very shortly. Leeds, you mentioned about Ampadu being out. Max Vober is another one. Patrick Bamford. And whether or not that is an injury for Aronson or not, for Leeds fans, I'm hoping that there will just be a tactical change there with Nonto coming on.
Queen's Park Rangers with a lengthening list of injuries as well. Marty Cifuentes without. Ilias Chair here this afternoon. Hamstring injury picked up at the Riverside in midweek. A crucial player for Queen's Park Rangers, and a player described as one of the best in the league by Cifuentes. Here's Sato. Now Anderson is making his first start in the Championship today of 2025. And Kenneth Powell. Breaks to Willie Nonto. Edwards comes across and makes the challenge. Feels he got the ball.
And that's one thing that you have to do with Wilfred Nonto. I'm not saying take the challenge. You can see that he actually takes the back of his head. It's actually to get there as quickly as possible, to deny him that opportunity of running into space. Not a good challenge.
Rangers not happy with that decision. Ball thumped forwards. Steve Cook wins the header. Very calmly dealt with as well. It's been a back four for Queen's Park Rangers, which has been very settled, but a tweak to it today with Ronnie Edwards stepping up into that midfield area. Morgan Fox starting at centre-back. Smith trying to find Frey. No free kick coming. Rothwell. Now Bogle. Hiru waiting in the middle. Rothwell across to Tanaka. Now Solomon. Can he get the better of Dunny? Gets across in, and it was a dangerous ball into the box as well. Looking to impose themselves on Queen's Park Rangers early in the second half. Here's Strauch. Nonto able to turn and able to thread it forwards. Cross takes a deflection. Solomon denied by Nardi, but Bogle is there. And from 2-0 down, Leeds bring it back to 2-2. Just the start they were looking for in this second half. Real spirit being summoned by Daniel Farke's side, who believe they can go on and win this game.
Well, as I mentioned about Leeds United, about not having many opportunities to get in behind the QPR back unit. This time they do it once again. And you have to say it's a great save to start off with from Nardi, but there's the ball from Nonto into the path of Daniel James. Here's the good save from Nardi, but Bogle, look at his positioning. He's by the 6-yard box, middle of the goal, as a right back, and calmly slots it past the QPR goalkeeper.
Didn't give Paul Nardi a chance there as he made sure he put his effort right into the corner, out of the reach of the goalkeeper. Leeds fighting back. And again, the importance of the Leeds United fullback shown. Firpo so heavily involved in the opener. And Jayden Bogle striking.
And what Farke will be delighted with, you talk about substitutes, you want to have some sort of impact. And straight away you see there with Wilfred Gnonto, they're able to just turn, and the weight of the pass to Daniel James is absolutely sublime.
He's just watching on, looking rather calm right now, Daniel Farke. Queen's Park Rangers found themselves in such a good situation. To peg them back, flicked on at the front post, and Meslier makes the save. Gnonto caught clearly by Kenneth Powell on the edge of the area. Queen's Park Rangers so close to getting themselves back in front.
Well, once again, it's from a set play, isn't it? This time a long throw from Paul Smith towards the near post. I think Steve Cook is the one who just swivels to have the shot. It's a good save from Meslier. There we have a little look, round the corner. Tries to wrap his foot around it. It's a good strike, but an excellent save from Meslier.
Steve Cook in there once again, really amongst the goals, isn't he? 2 in his last 2, so nearly had another there.
And they'll be thinking, any time they get an opportunity, 20 yards out, the long throws coming in, and these are the sort of issues that Daniel Farke is going to have to look at, because that cannot happen time and time again during the course of this game. QPR have put that ball into the 18-yard box and caused problems.
Edwards wins the header. Here's Gnonto, able to turn, able to drive Leeds forward. Cross comes in just out of the reach of Biru. And it would be huge for Leeds United if they can flip this game on its head here. The way that momentum swings in these races for promotion. Fans of Sheffield United and Burnley have been so happy after half an hour of this game, but now they're seeing Leeds United really taking this game by the scruff of the neck and refusing to accept what was their fate early in this game. Rescue of a ball forwards by Dunn. That goal for Jayden Bogle, the 29th goal involvement contributed from Leeds United defenders this season. Harsh on Nardi, who made such a good save initially, but there was Bogle. And he did well, didn't he? Put it well out of reach of the goalkeeper. We see often perhaps players just put that one somewhere where it gives the goalie a chance, but not Jayden Bogle.
But if you have a look, as soon as that ball goes out to Daniel James, he doesn't stand still. He just still makes his movement in towards the 6-yard box, hoping that that opportunity comes to him. As you're right to say, it's an excellent save from Nardi, but there you see Jayden Bogle, very calm, composed, slotted it to the other side of the keeper, who had no chance.
Here it pulls out wide, Bogle in the middle once again, but Ronnie Edwards steps away with possession. Frey looking to link it up, comes to him awkwardly. Queen's Park Rangers want a free kick, and it's given to them by Tim Robinson. Well, what way will this game turn next? Cifuentes said that his side are a match for anyone when they're on their game, particularly here at home. Junior Firpo now surging forward for Leeds. Solomon, he's going to head infield, pushes it into Willie Gnonto. Firpo, low ball across goal, cleared away, and cleared away well by Kenneth Powell. So difficult, those balls across goal, for defenders to deal with. They hate those kind of balls into the box.
I say once again, Gnonto does really well. Nice little back heel, but have a look again. Jayden Bogle, the right back, making that incisive move towards the 6-yard box. It's only a great intervention from the QPR defender, which gets that ball away for a corner.
Rothwell's delivery into the front post, and is he going to get the chance to do it again? He is. Final touch was a Queen's Park Rangers one. Jimmy Dunn doesn't agree, and neither do his teammates, and in fact the decision has been reversed. Steve Cook having plenty to say.
Comes off the head of Pirro, doesn't it? The referee can't quite see it, but actually very interested to see that the official on the far side was the one who gave it as being a goal kick.
Correct decision was made, and that's what we want to see. We're sent forwards. Firpo wins the header. For the challenge on Lucas Anderson. He's come on as a substitute in the last couple of games, Lucas Anderson, but as I mentioned, his first start of 2025. Junior Firpo just taking a ride on the back of him there, and it gives Queen's Park Rangers the opportunity to send the likes of Steve Cook and Ronnie Edwards forward once again. Forward it goes. Meslier got a good clean look at it and wastes little time in trying to put Dan James on the front foot, but he just put too much behind it.
That's a good claim, isn't it, from Meslier, but unfortunately distribution has to be a lot better than that. That's just poor, wasn't it, from Lucas Anderson, who came in with a lot of reputation, didn't he? I know he's not been up to the proper standards that Cifuentes wants his players to be, and hence that's why he's not had that many starts. Yes, he's come on sub, 15 times. He's got to have a better impact.
Tanaka turning away from Frey. It's with 5 ahead of the ball. Here's one of them, Willie Nonto. Forced to go backwards. Wall of Queen's Park Rangers players in his way. Now Rothwell. Frey, you can see how deep he's dropping to help out his side. Rothwell trying to gain ground, but it's cleared away. Challenge over on the far side. And James will be feeling that one. The yellow card is going to come out. Kenneth Powell has his name taken. No fullbacks for Queen's Park Rangers now in Tim Robinson's book.
Yes, it goes first touch, wasn't it, from Daniel James, and Kenneth Powell just a little bit late in closing the Welshman down. It's an easy decision, isn't it, for the referee? A yellow card. It gives Leeds United a golden opportunity here if they get the delivery right.
An hour played at Loftus Road. This game fantastically poised. Leeds coming back from 2 goals down after half an hour. Rothwell sends it in, and it was Strauch who got his head to it. Taken in by Paul Nardi.
He doesn't get enough direction, does he, Strauch, with that ball coming on from that Rothwell free kick. Definitely on an onside position. Not sure that would have gone inside of the far post anyway. You see the importance once again of Frey coming back to defend.
5 goals this season for Pascal Strauch. That huge contribution on that crazy night at Elland Road when came off the bench to score twice in the final 12 minutes against Sunderland, a game in which Leeds came back from behind. What they're hoping to do here today to take all 3 points. Dan James trying to make something happen. Just had to send that one forward. Has turned. Marty Cifuentes pacing around his technical area. How does he find a way to get his team back on top here?
So when you look at the bench, there's not an awful lot there, is there? Maybe you look at Dembele. I think the person who will be disappointed to have missed out today would have been Kieran Morgan. Just celebrated his he's celebrating his 19th birthday next week. But sometimes as a manager you have to make these decisions. I thought playing Ronnie Edwards in as a holding midfielder was a decent shout, because at times that when that ball goes wide he can go and slot in as the third centre half.
Miscue from Nardi. Leeds fans really getting behind their side here. They know how big a day this can be for them. Looking to open up a 5-point gap on Sheffield United, who have a red-hot derby tomorrow. Still City derby. Burnley with a tricky-looking game down at Swansea as well. Could be 7 points clear of them if they can pick up 3 points here. Firpo looking for Solomon. Jimmy Dunn. Well, he just seemed a bit indecisive there, and now Leeds have a throw deep in Queen's Park Rangers territory.
Well, what Joel Pirro is saying to the referee is that the ball has gone out, and Jimmy Dunn just inexplicably just kicked the ball away. And something stupid like that can give him his second yellow card.
Jimmy Dunn picking up that yellow card very early in proceedings. Here's Solomon, makes his way into the penalty area. Might be something on here. Bodies flying in to block the effort. Firpo down inside the box. The offside flag, though, has been raised over on the far side. Such a big afternoon this for Leeds United. It's a thrilling race to try and punch a ticket back to the Premier League. As things stand, Leeds would be 3 points clear of Sheffield United, but it could get better for them. And of course, really the most important thing, the gap to Burnley in third. 5 right now. Leeds want that to be 7 in half an hour's time.
As I mentioned, the huge game, wasn't it? 21st of April, Burnley, Sheffield United. Massive game. I say the run in that Leeds United have had, they've got, well, you say the only two sides in the top half who they've got to play, but sometimes those are the most difficult.
Good work by Dan James. Rothwell. James looking to beat his man Colback. Got over and got across really well and just got his body in the way, and you can see the frustrations there of Dan James, who's working ever so hard out on that right-hand side for Leeds.
And that's what I said about Jack Colback. At times, as a holding midfielder, he has to sense the danger very quickly, as he does with the experience that he has. But when you have Dan James, who's got blistering pace, it's all about sensing that danger as quickly as you can, and it's a good decision from Jack Colback. So a very experienced player.
Game between Burnley and Sheffield United comes up. Third last game of the season. Leeds have the advantage. At least one of those teams will be dropping points in that game, though. Maybe that both do, that it ends a draw. They just need to take care of their own business. Came through a gauntlet of games recently, didn't they? Those matches against Sunderland and Sheffield United, won both, and then West Brom as well at home at Ellen Road. Picked up a point in that. Fair few people had already given them promotion after that great late win at Sheffield United, but then just 1 point from the next 2 games as things tightened up at the top once again.
So really until you get to Easter time, isn't it? And that's when a lot of these games or divisions and titles are actually decided.
Smith trying to make something happen there. Ball goes out of play. The Easter weekend falls late this year, doesn't it? And we'll get the 4th and 3rd last games of the championship season in a very short period of time. It's going to be crucial in this race to make it into the top 2. Willie Gnonto goes down. Challenge from Ronnie Edwards. How do you feel he's fared in that position so far this afternoon, David?
Yeah, I quite like it. It's something obviously Cifuentes has decided to go and do, and as I mentioned, sometimes with QPR they need a 3rd centre-half, and naturally he can go and do that. You can see that he's doing a holding role. He's trying to prevent the balls going into those little holes you see with Gnonto, and he's worked really well. And Morgan Fox has come in, and we know potentially if that is an own goal or not, but they've done all right, the 2 centre-halves, Steve Cook and Morgan Fox. But then, as I mentioned before, if you have Ronnie Edwards doing that holding role, he can always slot in to become the 3rd centre-half as the game progresses.
Sato just leaning into Joe Rodon there. Free kick to Leeds. Midway point passed in the second half. Tight here for Leeds to go long. Edwards touches it out of play. Meslier has to take a touch and just hoists it high. Gets good distance on it as well. Cook wins the header. Rothwell, calming presence so often in midfield, but he gives the ball away there. Now Frey, Kenneth Powell scampering on his outside. Queen's Park Rangers throw. Is this an opportunity to see this long throw in once again?
I'm sure you'll see that Paul Smith will come across. They are on the 18-yard box. Dunn going up, Edwards going up, Steve Cook going up.
Volume raises inside Loftus Road because the Queen's Park Rangers supporters have seen the problems that these situations have posed for Leeds throughout this afternoon. And it comes from Smith. Good header from Piru. Back in towards Frey. Touch gets away from him. Offside flag had gone up.
Yeah, good header, wasn't it, from Piru. Has to come back, pick up one of the centre-halves.
Solomon. To weave his way in field. Tanaka. Solomon finds himself all the way out on the right-hand side now, put out of play by Colback. Just turned into a bit of trouble, but it doesn't prove damaging. Here's Rodon. Leeds have had 65% of the ball since half-time as it's just clipped away to Sato. Struggling to make it stick, Queen's Park Rangers, as Leeds come again. Piru in room here. Rolls it to his left. Solomon Cuts the ball back across Joel Piroe, surrounded by Queen's Park Rangers players who are more than aware of the danger there. Now is there a chance to break? Pascal Strout knew exactly what he was doing there, and his name will be taken. No nonsense from him.
Well, there was no way that Paul Smith was getting around him, was there? Not the greatest of challenges, but just think on the other side with Piroe, when the ball comes in, it doesn't have the greatest of touches inside of that 18-yard box. And sometimes you look at yellow cards that have to be given, and that's an easy one. But I think Strout had to make that decision.
Prevents Queen's Park Rangers from a burst forwards there after Leeds had been on the attack. From here for Queen's Park Rangers, Steve Cook needing some medical attention. Players making their way over to the far side to take on board some hydration. No surprise given the pace and the tempo of this game. It's been a great game so far, hasn't it, David?
It has. It's, you know, when you look at the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, it was all Leeds United. And then Saito had that opportunity, put it away fantastically well. And then QPR get the second goal. And you're thinking, well, what's going to happen? But then that goal just before half-time really changed the team talks. Good goal for Leeds in the second half with Bogle. It's gone a little bit flat just recently, but I'm sure it'll ignite again for the last 18 minutes. There's a winner here for somebody who wants to be a little bit more braver.
Queen's Park Rangers coming into this game off the back of 4 successive defeats. They picked up 33 points from their previous 21 games until that run of defeats started, and in that time Leeds were the only side in the Championship that had picked up more points in that 3-month period. You see Queen's Park Rangers sometimes and you wonder, we don't see them a little higher up the table. They are going to make a change here. Karamoko Dembele is going to come on. It might just be a reshuffle here. Martin Cifuentes, Ronnie Edwards, you would feel, might just slot back, but in fact a second change is coming now. Liam Morrison also being introduced. Real shame to see Steve Cook depart, who's certainly had his say on the game with that goal, which put Queen's Park Rangers into a 2-goal lead. Paul Smith is going to make way. That's a big thing as well, isn't it, David? Because he's been putting those long throws into the penalty area plenty of times for Queen's Park Rangers, but now they've lost that particular weapon as Morrison comes on as well.
Well, I wonder with Paul Smith, with the challenge from Strout, has caused a big injury, I'm sure, there with Steve Cook as well, with the experience that he has. Really wants to try and stay on the pitch, but again, that's not a tactical thing by bringing in Liam Morrison. That's a worrying injury for Steve Cook.
So the first real pause to proceedings here this afternoon is now to go again. 16 minutes of the 90 left to play. And under pressure from Dan James, happy to go all the way back to Nardi. Paul Smith getting plenty of applause for his contributions here this afternoon.
He seems to be walking okay, so obviously not an injury, but I still think that with that little period of time left, unless somebody else in the QPR ranks has a long throw, I'm a little bit surprised that he's been taken off.
All game time for Karamoko Dembele, 5th successive game in which he's come on as a substitute. Jimmy Dunn doing nothing wrong in the eyes of the referee. Ball pushed forwards and just skips up in front of Strauch, who doesn't quite get his clearance right. Rode on. It's a bit more distance on it. Pushed on by Piroe. Dembele, really good in tight situations, looks to poke it forward. He's won his side a free kick even against Pascal Strout. He has to tread carefully.
a couple of nibbles at him, didn't he? And as you're right to say, just recently been booked. Has to be very, very careful, Pascal Struijk. The last thing that Daniel Farke wants is his side going down to 10 men.
Anderson with the responsibility to come up with a delivery here for Queen's Park Rangers. We had 3 touches in the Leeds box in this second half. Flighted forwards, dealt with by Tanaka. Now Willie Gnonto waiting for support to arrive. Leeds players flying forwards. Dan James, was he caught there by Jack Colback? He says he played the ball. No real complaints from Dan James either.
No, I thought it was a timely challenge from Jack Colback. Again, he's had to use his experience, but when you're isolated 1v1 with Dan James, you've got to make a decision very, very quickly. And he got that one absolutely spot on. The thing there for QPR was that they had that free kick, and then within a space of, 5 or 6 seconds, we've got a Leeds corner.
Challenge from Colback, seeing the ball squirm behind for a corner. Firpo, Rodon, Struijk, all queued up just beyond the penalty spot. Now they break, the delivery comes in, flicked away to the edge of the area, and Sato just pushes it out of harm's way. To Rothwell. Neat from Gnonto. Bogle with the opportunity to cross here. Awkward for Jimmy Dunn. Really awkward. QPR survive. Great ball in from Bogle. Gnonto. Bogle will get the chance again. It's another really testing ball in. QPR hanging in a little here.
Well, this is a great ball, isn't it, from Bogle? Haven't looked towards the far post, but the way that Jimmy Dunn is able to just turn his back on it, slightly fortuitous, doesn't know who's behind him. And sometimes you need that little bit of luck, but what a ball from Bogle once again.
Fair few balls this afternoon that Leeds have right into that area that makes defenders fear the worst. We saw Kenneth Powell get one away early in the second half. Pressure building. Into Bogle, who's just drifted into that more central position with Dan James outside of him. But we've seen Leeds score late goals, dramatic late goals in recent weeks. Home to Sunderland, away to Sheffield United. Wrapped up victory with a goal 5 minutes from the end on Wednesday against Millwall. What they'd give for another here this afternoon, a game in which they were 2-0 down. Rothwell seeking Firpo, cut out by Dunn. Lovely touch, really nice touch from Anderson. Just couldn't quite find Sato, who gives away the free kick.
That's a time where you've got to try and hit that with the outside of your right foot, bending that ball from left to right. It's very difficult when that ball's underneath your foot and you're going from right to left to start off with. Just thought that was an opportunity there for Anderson, just to go and clip it with the outside of the right and just put it into that little hole.
Solomon, Firpo. Looking across, sending it into the front post. Gnonto was there, cleared away by Kenneth Powell.
Well, there's a lot of pressure going on in the QPR back unit now. And when you have somebody like Gnonto, for me, the impact since he's come on has been immeasurable. He's been superb. He's in amongst everything that's good for Leeds United going forward.
Again, dropping in to help out his defence, goes in with the challenge. Tanaka, so good, isn't he, at reading those situations, stepped in and got his team back on the ball. Rothwell under too much pressure from Frey, who needs to step away from Tim Robinson. I think he might have thought it was Joe Rothwell. He just sprung up so quickly. Yellow card for the Queen's Park Rangers forward.
You see, it's just the shirt pull, isn't it? Not the once, not the twice, and then the challenge. Thinks he wants to take out the referee as well at the same time.
And he's worked really hard, hasn't he, Michael Frey?
Yeah, he has worked hard. Up top by himself most of the time. But that's what you have to do when you play a side like Leeds United. It's not the 100%, you have to give a little bit more if you've got it. Energy level starts sapping, but all of a sudden they've got to go and kick back in once again. I think it's a little injury there, is it, to Lucas Anderson?
Of course, as I mentioned, it is his first start since the 29th of December. 82 minutes in the bank today. Was probably always going to be a tough task for him to get through the 90. Queen's Park Rangers seems are going to have to make another change. Nicholas Madsen preparing to come on. Another player who hasn't started a game since December, similar to Anderson, who of course came into the starting 11 today. It will be an 8th successive substitute appearance for him.
Also looked that Ramazani was getting stripped as well.
In the last 15 minutes of the game, Leeds have had 72% of the ball. The pressure is building. It feels as if more and more of the game is being played in Queen's Park Rangers' defensive third. So Anderson gets 83 minutes under his belt this afternoon. On comes Nicholas Madsen. As you say, Ramazani preparing to come on for Daniel Farke's side. Started the season with some good numbers, Ramazani, but he's been a peripheral figure for Leeds really since November time. He started one of the last 26 games and only 1 goal and 1 assist since the end of October.
Well, I was just looking at Manor Solomon as he was going round the pitch, not happy with the decision.
James's cross comes in, Pirut contesting, met by Morrison. Tanaka. James back to Tanaka, who clips in the cross. It's over the head of Pirut. And we see Solomon not happy with the decision to take him off, but you don't want players to be happy coming off anyway.
Oh, but you can still see that he's fuming. But a good round of applause from the Leeds United fans, appreciating the efforts of Manor Solomon, whose cross in the first half was able to get them back into the game.
As things stand, Leeds would be 3 points clear of Sheffield United, who will have the opportunity to go level on points with them with victory in the derby tomorrow. Still plenty of this game to go. You feel there might be a twist. Dembele, still Dembele, who holds off the challenge, looks to find Sato.
Now we'll see if anyone's got a long throw.
Comes Ronnie Edwards. Morrison has ventured forward here. I think like to see the same. Ronnie Edwards preparing the long throw. Good distance on it as well. Breaks inside the box. Madsen. And now a chance to fire towards goal. Strout comes in with the challenge. We all know how much of a handful Jimmy Dunn can be in opposition penalty areas with his 5 goals this season.
Well, this is such an important challenge for Pascal Strout. As you mentioned about Jimmy Dunn, 5 goals so far this season, most attempted on shots on target, and that's for a right back. Dembele over the corner, crowded scene inside the 6-yard box, and it comes. Meslier does well. Really good distance on that punch away, but it's kept in play by Dembele. Looks to cross, it's disappointing. Can Leeds break it? Cross comes Sato. Back to Nardi it goes. We won't have too much time here. Needs to thump it forward. Firpo's header. Meslier comes charging out of his penalty area. Edwards wins the battle with Piru. Queen's Park Rangers crowd on their side to have a go here. Behind their team. Shown plenty of endeavour here this afternoon, but Leeds pushing for a third. Ramazani, low ball in, cut out at the front post, poor clearance away, gets away from Tanaka initially. Tanaka slips. He scored a couple of really good goals from distance since the turn of the year, Al Tanaka, but that chance just got away from him. Yeah, he'd be disappointed with that. He didn't plant his foot down firm enough. You can see there, he just slips away. Very similar sort of position, wasn't it? 2 or 3 yards outside of the 18-yard box, the goal that he scored against Millwall to claim all 3 points. I think he'll be disappointed with that effort. Nardi gets that one wrong, does he? Just kept in play. Free kick goes Queen's Park Rangers' way. 90 seconds of the 90 to play. There'll be a fair bit of time bolted on at the end of it. We've had 2 or 3 stoppages and a raft of substitutions in this second half, but a chance for Queen's Park Rangers to thump it forward here. Yeah, everyone going up. Nardi comes across the halfway line. In fact, he's going to leave it to Kenneth Parle. Plays it forward. Against Jimmy Dunn. Just feeling the effects of that challenge, but Leeds wanting to get on with things. Meslier drops beyond Jimmy Dunn. Ramazani gives chase. Dunn desperately wanting it to go out of play. It wasn't going to do so, so he had to act. Now Edwards under pressure, holds off the challenge of Nonto, and a soft free kick there for Queen's Park Rangers. All eyes now on Lewis Smith, the 4th official. For how much longer will we play here at Loftus Road? Well, you'd have to think 4 or 5 minutes, wouldn't you? Those gone as high as 6. So we did have that little injury with Steve Cook as well, didn't we? And as you say, the amount of substitutions that we've had. Shame it's not 60. It's been such a good game. It has been a great game. Thump long by Nardi. Is there to be a 5th goal? We talked about Leeds having a perhaps favourable
running, but this just shows you there are no easy games in the Championship. Queen's Park Rangers 14th in the table. Leeds are going to face this wherever they go from now until the end of the season, because if we're honest, everybody wants to beat them. They are that side in the Championship.
Well, they are, and
biggest team in town.
Yeah, they are, and there aren't going to be sides there who just want to go and put one over on Leeds. I think their last game of the season is at Plymouth Argyle, and at this moment in time, Argyle are looking to try and get themselves out the bottom three, but at this moment in time, they are at the bottom.
Marty Cifuentes' side can have a real influence on what happens at the top end of the table, because their final 2 games of the season are Burnley here at home and then a trip up to take on Sunderland as well. And if teams are dropping points at the top, perhaps there is still a small fraction of hope for Sunderland. Leeds United with trips to Luton, Oxford, and as you mentioned, Plymouth, all still to come this season. All teams fighting for their Championship status as Gnonto catches Colback. Farker had suggested before the game against Millwall that perhaps 5 victories at home from the 5 they had left would be enough to get them over the line. They are formidable, of course, at Elland Road. Just the 1 defeat so far this season.
I think that was it against Burnley as well?
All the way back in September. Interesting choice of free kick there by Kenneth Powell, which presents Dan James with the ball, and he's abruptly halted by Koki Sato. How long ago it seems now that he swept QPR into the lead, but he's been sent off. Red card shown by Tim Robinson. QPR, for the final 3 minutes or so of this afternoon, are going to be a player short. Let's have another look here where you can see why. Referee gets that right. It's not a nice challenge at all by Sato. Studs on the calf of Dan James.
When I first saw it, I wasn't too sure, but when you see it from that angle, and that's the angle that the referee saw it from as well, absolutely spot on. It's a reckless challenge. It could be a season injury.
Well, there's plenty in the crowd that won't have got a good view of that, but I think if they were to see that once more from the angle we just got, they'd be in agreement. So Leeds with a numerical advantage, but only just over 2 minutes to try and capitalise upon it. Colback cut out by Stroud. Just didn't want to allow Dan James to progress, but it wasn't a good challenge from Koki Sato. Daniel Benny, who was going to come on, it seemed, for Queen's Park Rangers, now has his vest back on as the Queen's Park Rangers bench question the decision to the 4th official. Leeds running out of time to turn a 2-goal deficit into a 3-2 victory. It's been a breathless encounter, but will there be a further twist to come? Firpo forward first time to Ramazani. His cross charged down by Jimmy Dunn, Leeds United corner. A minute or so to play. Chance for Leeds United. Can Joe Rothwell find a delivery here? Tim Robinson needs to do a bit of talking. Could Pascal Strauch do it once again late on for Leeds? Rothwell's ball into the front post, flicked away. Now Dembele, he's going to get there first. Leeds players streaming back, but Queen's Park Rangers looking to break here. Ball comes across Rodon's area, it breaks for Frey. Back to goal, waits for Jimmy Dunn to come up in support. Lovely pirouette by Dunn. Jimmy Dunn, but cross goal, he tries to go. Frey helps it on. Meslier retreats to his line. The offside flag goes up.
Breathtaking, isn't it? I think that Leeds, with the corner that they have, got an opportunity, but once again, set plays have not been that particularly good for Leeds United. Then in the space of, 20 seconds, QPR have a couple opportunities. Jimmy Dunn getting himself nice and high. Frey with a header. I think it was Dembele who was in an offside position.
Full-time whistle blown here at Loftus Road. An absorbing, entertaining game here between Queen's Park Rangers and Leeds United. Queen's Park Rangers led by 2-0. Goals from Koiki Sato and Steve Cook, but Daniel Farke's side fired up and roared back into the game. Jayden Bogle with an equaliser for them 6 minutes after half-time. That came after a Morgan Fox own goal just before half-time. Leeds, though, couldn't quite turn the game completely around and have to settle for a point. It does see them extend their lead at the top to 3 points, but Sheffield United can draw level with them tomorrow when they play in the Sheffield derby. So many talking points from a fantastic game here, which finishes Queen's Park Rangers 2, Leeds United 2.